Why are humans being abducted? Is it merely for experimentation, or is there a more intricate motive at play? The answer may lie in a hidden plan known as the Gray Agenda, a plan that could ultimately determine the fate of humanity. To understand this, we must delve into the annals of unexplained phenomena, to a time when the veil between our world and the unknown began to thin. The modern era of gray alien encounters arguably began with the infamous Betty and Barney Hill incident in 1961, an event that etched itself into the collective consciousness and set the stage for decades of speculation and investigation. Following this watershed moment, the 1970s witnessed a surge in reported abduction cases, coupled with the rise of abduction support groups and UFO organizations dedicated to unraveling this perplexing mystery. While definitive proof remains elusive, the consistency of accounts, detailing unsettling medical examinations, periods of missing time, and the discovery of unexplained implants, cannot be easily dismissed. This is not merely a fringe topic relegated to the realm of conspiracy theories. It is a serious investigation into a controversial subject. It is a search for truth, irrespective of how uncomfortable that truth may be. Drawing from UFO literature, alleged government documents like Majestic 12, and the testimonies of countless eyewitnesses, including those documented by researchers like Bud Hopkins and David Jacobs, a disturbing picture begins to emerge. Despite the lack of irrefutable evidence, the sheer volume of alleged abductions and the striking similarities in the narratives demand our attention. So many questions remain unanswered. Why do abductees from different parts of the world report similar experiences? Are these experiences a result of shared delusion, or is there a more tangible reality behind them? This leads us to the core of our investigation, the Gray Agenda. This is not simply about isolated incidents of alien abduction. It is allegedly a multifaceted plan involving systematic abductions, genetic manipulation on a grand scale, and a complex hybrid program. But the central question remains: is this hybrid program designed to benefit the Greys, humanity, or both? To understand the Gray Agenda, we must delve into the Greys' origins, their physiology, their technology, and the very nature of their interactions with humanity. By the end of this presentation, you will have a better understanding of the Gray Agenda and its possible ramifications. To understand the Gray Agenda, we must delve into the Greys' origins. The Gray Agenda, as we've begun to understand, extends far beyond simple curiosity or resource acquisition. The core of the Gray Agenda isn't just about random experimentation, but a targeted effort for specific genetic material. The shocking truth is, the Greys are facing a genetic crisis, and their DNA is degrading, hindering their very survival and future evolution as a species. But how did they come to this point? And why is human DNA the key to their salvation? Channeled entities communicating with abductees have revealed that the Greys are desperate to rectify a genetic flaw, a flaw that threatens their existence. This raises a fundamental question. Why can't the Greys fix their own genetic problems, and why do they need us? Why is humanity, seemingly so primitive compared to their technological prowess, holding the key to their survival? According to channeled sources, the Greys evolved on a planet with diminished resources, forcing them to rely on technology to survive. This reliance, however, came at a cost. Over millennia, they have lost the ability to feel emotions and have developed weakened immune systems and limited reproductive capabilities. Abductees often describe the Greys as being devoid of empathy, cold, and calculating, but this is because their emotional capacity is failing. They are not necessarily malicious, but their survival instincts have overridden any sense of compassion. Channel entities describe the Greys' recognition of their inevitable demise as the main motivation to intervene with the human race. The Greys' intervention with the human race is a form of self-preservation, and also to learn about emotions through observation and experimentation, a process they believe is essential for their continued existence. Abductees commonly recount invasive procedures and tissue samples being taken, which aligns with this idea of genetic harvesting. It has been claimed that more than 50% of abductees have been implanted with probes in their body, all for the collection of genetic material. This raises an important question. If these claims are true, what are the long-term effects on the abductees? The implications of this are profound. Is their agenda fueled by an intention to harm humanity or a desperate attempt to survive? Do they view humanity as simply a genetic resource, justifying the abductions in their minds? If the Greys are so advanced, why don't they negotiate with humanity for genetic samples? Why the secrecy, the deception, and the violation of personal autonomy? Some argue that the Greys fear human resistance, or that they believe humans are too primitive to understand the situation. Others suggest that they have tried to negotiate in the past, but were met with hostility or disbelief. It is important to remember that the accounts are based upon the abductees' perception of what took place, and the interpretation of the events can be subjective and influenced by various factors. It must be acknowledged that the evidence is largely anecdotal and based on personal accounts. While there is a lack of verifiable proof, the consistent reports of abduction experiences cannot be ignored. Regardless of the Greys' motives, the Greys are in dire need of genetic material in order to keep from extinction. This genetic decay rationale positions the Grey agenda beyond simple planetary control and makes genetic survival more important to them. It redefines the narrative from one of galactic conquest to one of species preservation. The Greys are in a battle against genetic decay, and their survival depends on finding a solution. But what specific steps are the Greys taking to stave off their genetic demise? That is what needs to be explained. Their technology and manipulation methods have allowed them to remain hidden and operate without detection for a very long time. We need to explore how the Greys obtain the DNA and the overall purpose of the hybrid program. What specific genetic material are they targeting, and how are they using it to combat their genetic degradation? The Greys are in dire need of genetic material in order to keep from extinction. But what if it's not just any genetic material they crave? The Grey agenda isn't a random grab bag of genetic material. It's a targeted shopping spree for very specific traits. The shocking truth is that the Greys are not simply collecting DNA samples. They are after the emotional and physical robustness that humanity possesses and they lack. What are these traits, and why are they so crucial? They are specifically after humans' emotional capacity, such as empathy, compassion, and creativity, along with our regenerative abilities, including healing and longevity. Without this emotional and regenerative jumpstart, the Grey race is doomed for extinction. This is why the hybrid program exists. Without this cross-contamination, the Grey species will cease to exist, so they started the hybrid program to save themselves. Now, this is the account of how the Greys collect the genetic material. Numerous abduction accounts detail procedures involving the harvesting of eggs and sperm, often described as cold and clinical. Imagine being strapped to a table, lights shining in your eyes, as beings with no emotion harvest your genetic material. It's a terrifying thought. These accounts often describe medical examinations, missing time, and implanted devices. Leaked documents allegedly outline the Greys' obsession with chromosomes 6 and 11, which is directly related to emotion and physical endurance. What is it about these chromosomes that the Greys find so valuable? Remote viewers describe ultra-clean facilities where human and Grey genetics are merged, as well as devices used to suppress abductees' memories. These reports paint a disturbing picture of advanced technology being used for non-consensual genetic manipulation. Further, many UFO investigators believe that abductions are common and are being used to harvest genetic material. According to them, the Greys have been doing this for decades, if not centuries, all without our knowledge. Is this why governments around the world have kept the alien topic a secret? This is significant because the Greys seek to reintroduce empathy, compassion, and creativity into their society to advance and evolve. The Greys can see where a lack of emotion is hindering them, so they want to reignite it through the human genome. Along with emotion comes physical healing. By retrieving these genes, the Greys are hoping to increase their physical ability as well. Is this simply for survival, or are there other factors at play? While technology can provide the Greys with a jump start, the hybrid program will infuse the bodies and spirits with the new traits. This is more than just a physical transformation. It's a spiritual evolution. The ethics of extracting DNA without consent has always been a topic of discussion, and there is not a clear answer. The abductee accounts of what they saw are the basis for a lot of theories, but proving what they saw is difficult. Even if the abductions are real, how much of it is true and how much is the mind playing tricks? So, what have we learned? The Greys want human DNA for their survival, and the abductees are the unknowing donors. With human DNA, they are using the DNA in the hybrid program, which program is used to create an entirely new being. What are these beings like? These human Grey crossbreeds have incredible abilities that are useful to both species. In time, if the program is a success, we will share the planet with these hybrid humans. But is this a good thing? Did you know that the hybrid program is more than just an exchange of genetic material? The core of the Grey agenda is a calculated plan for the long-term survival and evolution of the Grey species through the strategic integration of human traits. The hybrid program isn't merely about gathering genetic material. It is about engineering the next generation of Greys with enhanced abilities. What's really fascinating is the Greys' alleged long-term intention to eventually inhabit human bodies. The shocking truth is that the long-term plan to save the Greys is to eventually transfer their consciousness into human bodies. As well as the long-term goal of inhabit human bodies, the Greys wish to also learn to feel emotions. For the Greys, it is about survival of the fittest, and the hybrid program is allowing them to reach that goal. Now, this is the account of the hybrids that have been created. What are the hybrid beings like? Abductees describe hybrid beings as having a mix of human and Grey features, with heightened intelligence and psychic abilities. These beings aren't simply a combination of two species. They are something entirely new. Alleged documents point to hybrids having mosaic genomes, with specific human genes activated for emotional response and physical regeneration. What specific human genes are they activating? Remote viewers report observing hybrids learning at an accelerated pace, mastering complex technologies, and displaying strong psychic abilities. Are these skills developed for the Grey race, or are they using the skills for the hybrid race? Star children are a prime example of abductees. These people claim to have alien DNA inside of them and were created through a government conspiracy. According to abductees, some are even living among us now. The core of the hybrid race is to learn about humanity. Now, let's look at the implications of hybrid integration into human society. Would the integration be seamless, or would it create social divisions and power struggles? The ethical issues are paramount when it comes to creating a new race without their consent. With no say in their creation, are they considered property of the Grey race? Humans can't fully understand why the hybrids act the way they do, and may never fully be able to comprehend the reasoning. Humans tend to only see what is happening based upon our perception and emotion. Another way to look at this is the possibility of hybrids acting as intermediaries between humans and Greys, bridging the gap between two species. Could hybrids serve as ambassadors, facilitating communication and cooperation between humans and greys. What if the hybrids were to take over humanity in order to ensure that gray race survives? Could the hybrids become a ruling class, or would they remain subservient to the greys? What if the hybrid program is not about integration or enslavement, but about something far more complex? What if the hybrid program is not about love, but about the longevity of the gray species? What if the hybrid were to take over humanity in order to ensure that gray race survives? The ethical considerations are paramount. But where are these hybrids being trained and prepared? It is said they are being trained in underground facilities. These are leaked reports from whistleblowers who claim to have seen these facilities themselves and the actions of the hybrids within. Would an alliance between the hybrids and humans be for good or the start of the end? Could there be an alliance between the hybrids and the humans? What are the requirements to get accepted into this alliance? What are they not telling us about the gray agenda? Now, this is the account of the underground facilities. These facilities are supposedly where the hybrids are created and trained. Whistleblowers claim these facilities are located deep underground, connected by a vast network of tunnels, and used for hybrid training and experimentation. Are these facilities located under government facilities as a means to throw people off? What if this underground network spans the entire planet and each continent? Leaked documents purportedly reveal maps of the facilities, detailing living quarters, training areas, and research labs, staffed by both humans and greys. The documents outline the greys' plan to save themselves and put themselves on top. They show a clear domination goal for every species in the galaxy. Are these documents real, and why haven't people come forward with this? Remote viewers describe hybrids undergoing rigorous training, including mental exercises to control their abilities and simulations to prepare them for integration into human society. They are conditioning the minds of the hybrids. There are also abductee accounts who have been to these facilities and have experienced firsthand the training that goes on. The abductees talk about the experimentation and the pain the hybrids endure to be ready for society. They can hear the screams of the hybrids when they close their eyes. This leads many to believe they were used to suppress information and used as leverage. If they talk, they face repercussions. What are the repercussions they are facing? What don't they want us to know? From their unique abilities to their alleged training facilities, hybrid beings present a complex picture of potential interaction with humanity. The hybrid program may be the Greys' most ambitious project, aiming to reshape the future of both species by combining their strengths and mitigating their weaknesses. But are the Greys acting as misguided saviors or malevolent manipulators? The Grey agenda is not just about genetic survival, but about creating a new future for both species, with hybrids playing a key role. But are the Greys really interested in cooperation, or is this a path to domination? Is our fate intertwined with the Greys, or are we destined to resist their agenda? After all, there are two types of species, those who dominate and those who are subservient. As we covered, leaked documents and whistleblower accounts point to the existence of vast underground complexes where hybrid beings are allegedly trained and prepared for integration into human society. But the true mystery isn't just the where and how of these facilities. It is the who is really in charge and the nature of their control. Within these facilities, the Greys seem to hold absolute authority, the hybrids are in a support role, and humans are allegedly the worker bees that perform everyday tasks. This raises the unsettling question: what compels humans to collaborate with a species that may ultimately seek to replace or control them? Whistleblowers describe a clear disparity in freedom of movement within these alleged facilities. Greys can supposedly go anywhere, while humans are always watched. What purpose do they serve in this mission? Is this why they are being watched, for fear of leaking sensitive information? Leaked documents allegedly outline a strict division of labor, with humans handling maintenance, research, and training tasks, while Greys make all the key decisions. This division of labor is strictly to help the Greys and their agenda. It is not known if these humans understand what they are doing. What if these humans are just lab rats who are being used for the Greys' personal agenda? Remote viewers report a palpable atmosphere of fear and compliance, with humans seemingly resigned to their roles. Many are scared to speak up, for fear of the consequences. What consequences do they face if they act out against the Grey race? If they can't leave, what do they do? Data suggests that the underground facilities are interconnected and located all over the world, spanning from the United States to parts of Europe. What if these facilities are not as secret as we think and governments around the world are working with them? The idea of interconnection would explain the similar accounts of abductees across different countries and regions, suggesting a centralized operation. This is a grand scale, so is humanity too far gone to turn back the invasion? Are these humans forced to collaborate, or do they believe they are contributing to a greater good, perhaps a future of shared existence with the Greys? This is the ultimate question. Are they manipulated or willing participants? It is possible that they have been deceived into believing that the Grey agenda is aligned with the long-term survival of humanity as well. What methods of deception are being used to make these humans fall in line and assist in their plan? Is it possible that the Greys have technology to manipulate the minds of these humans, altering their perceptions and making them believe what they want them to believe? Or are these humans being blackmailed into compliance? The question of self-preservation is huge in the choice of collaboration with a superior race. The psychological factors are significant when thinking about Stockholm Syndrome and cognitive dissonance. What if the Grey race has technology to change their minds to make it more acceptable to them? The psychological manipulation is very high when it comes to high-tech alien races. Is it a choice, or are they forced to believe that they are choosing for themselves? This idea opens a whole new perspective on the topic. Remote viewers may not be able to see all the small details when looking at the facility, making it hard to know if humans know they are assisting. How can we trust that remote viewers are giving an accurate version of what is happening inside the facilities? What if they are only seeing what the Greys want them to see, and they are being deceived as well? If this is true, then we are not able to truly understand what goes on within the facilities. This alone is enough to know that we can't fully trust what is being said. It is important to acknowledge the limitations of the sources when piecing together the truth. The power dynamics within the underground facilities paint a picture of complex control and collaboration, driven by various motivations. But the twist in this is, what if the Greys are not aliens, but rather future evolved humans? How would this affect the current line of thought? Genetic makeup, time travel, and a desperate attempt to correct a genetic flaw all point towards a future evolved human. This could result in a paradox if they are messing with time. What if they are our descendants trying to fix what we broke? If the Greys are future humans, it changes everything. What would this say about the human race if this were true? Is our current trajectory leading us towards the very characteristics we find disturbing in the Greys? The loss of emotions, the reliance on technology, and a desperate struggle for survival. Could the Grey agenda be a desperate attempt to alter the past and prevent this future from coming to pass? If so, are they simply exacerbating the issues? This twist recontextualizes the entire narrative. The hybrid traits and underground facilities point to a new path for both human and Grey beings. So it is possible that the Greys are not a different being, but are our future selves. The ethics of genetic manipulation have always been a large topic. So, what if this is all done by the future human beings and not a different species? How would you feel knowing that our future is not what we thought it was? We now come to the precipice of a revelation so profound, so unsettling, that it threatens to shatter the very foundations of our understanding. Did you know, the Greys may not be extraterrestrial aliens at all, but rather our own descendants, future humans who have mastered the art of time travel? We must now entertain the possibility that the Greys are our descendants, traveling back through time, attempting to correct a cataclysmic error in our past, and therefore securing their own future. What if the Grey agenda isn't an alien invasion, but a desperate attempt by our future selves to save themselves, and therefore us? The core of this lies in a chilling possibility, a genetic time bomb ticking within the human genome, a flaw so devastating that it threatens to extinguish our entire species in the distant future. There is a genetic time bomb that humans are born with, so the future humans go back in time to remove the time bomb. The Greys could be fixing themselves, as well as ensuring humanity survives for years to come. This understanding reframes the abduction phenomenon entirely, casting it not as a hostile invasion, but as a desperate act of self-preservation orchestrated by our future selves. What evidence could possibly support such a mind-bending theory? Let us now delve into the evidence, the first layer of which rests upon the very building blocks of life itself, our genetic legacy. Genetic studies show that the mitochondrial DNA is surprisingly similar, making the possibility that the Greys evolved from the human race far from impossible. While the differences are apparent, the underlying framework, the very blueprint upon which both human and Grey DNA is constructed, bears an uncanny resemblance. What this might be suggesting is that the Greys' DNA is derived from humans in some way, perhaps even being direct relatives. This leads us to the theoretical possibility of time travel, a concept once relegated to the realm of science fiction, but now increasingly explored by theoretical physicists and fringe scientists alike. While time travel remains theoretical, advanced propulsion systems could make moving back in time a real possibility. The ability to traverse the corridors of time, to bend the very fabric of spacetime, may be the key to understanding the Grey agenda. It is possible that the Greys' enhanced mental capacity and advanced technology allow them to manipulate spacetime, traveling back through the ages to reach our present. Imagine the power they would wield, the ability to alter the course of history with a mere touch. Leaked documents reveal a machine that folds space-time to allow travel between different dates. But what drives this desperate mission? What is the nature of this genetic flaw that the future humans are so determined to eradicate? It is believed that this flaw, perhaps triggered by environmental catastrophe, nuclear war, or even a self-inflicted technological disaster, threatens to unravel their very existence. In this new reality, the actions that the Greys make allow for the new timeline to continue. This leads to the speculation that the future Greys can travel back in time to prevent the disaster from ever happening. Thus, this is why they target specific timelines and try to prevent different catastrophes from happening. And that is where the Greys' enhanced mental capacity enters the equation. If this enhanced mental capacity is what allows the Greys to time travel, this would make them a force to be reckoned with. Imagine the control over both time and space. This level of comprehension is not something that the current human race can come close to competing with. With the potential for control of the universe, this may be the Greys' true goal. But that is just theory. What if the goal is to fix what happened in the past? The implications of time travel are staggering, fraught with paradoxes and potential for self-destruction. It is possible that a paradox happens from all the different timelines from their meddling. What if the Greys are inadvertently creating the very problems they are trying to solve? As they attempt to fix their problem, it is possible they are creating the problem itself. This opens the possibility of a predestination paradox, where the Greys' actions in the past are what causes the flaw in the future. While there is doubt of this theory, it needs to be explored in order to fully understand. The complexities of spacetime make it nearly impossible to travel through time. What if the gray race can transcend this understanding? What if the grays have broken the code and are able to travel through time? As humans, we might not understand what time truly is. What if time is just a flat circle? What if the consciousness transfer is a future person transferring back into a present human, and what the consequences could be? The implications and issues with this could be severe if the consciousness is not fully compatible. With the future human twist, there is new information that can explain the grays. It would turn the gray agenda on its head and lead us down a new path. This interpretation reframes the entire abduction phenomenon, transforming it from a terrifying alien invasion into a desperate attempt at self-preservation. It might even point towards the goal of not creating a new species, but stopping humanity's extinction. And what if the gray agenda is trying to stop a big disaster? Let us now consider another layer of evidence: the accounts of abductees themselves, the unwilling participants in this cosmic drama. Abductees have reported seeing glimpses of future timelines and events, only to be suppressed later. What if these repressed memories hold the key to understanding the gray agenda's true purpose? What if they provide glimpses of the genetic flaw that the future humans are so desperately trying to correct? These glimpses are not always clear or coherent, but they often paint a picture of environmental devastation, widespread disease, and societal collapse. Alleged documents show concerns about different historical events that could wipe out a majority of the population. Remote viewers have described the grays as being desperate and determined in what they are doing. What if the grays are not the cold, emotionless beings they appear to be, but are driven by a profound sense of regret and a desperate desire to save their ancestors from a terrible fate? Alleged documents detail the grays' concern for human survival, referencing environmental disasters, pandemics, and wars. Is the hybrid program a means of infusing humanity with the resilience and adaptability needed to survive the coming cataclysm? There is documentation that abductions are done on people who are going to lead the human race to its doom. What if these abductions were meant to intervene in a plan that leads to disaster? Do the gray aliens know the future of mankind and the different steps? What if the grays are not malevolent invaders, but desperate time travelers trying to prevent humanity from destroying itself? This altruistic goal provides a far more nuanced and compelling explanation for the abduction phenomenon, one that challenges our preconceived notions about the grays and their agenda. The grays may not be evil, but are actually here to help. If the grays were human, their motivations become clear and are for the continuation of life on Earth. The gray agenda is not just about genetic survival or hybrid creation, but about the fate of humanity across time, with the grays potentially being our future selves trying to prevent a catastrophic event. Although it is controversial, time travel and genetic manipulation is not a bad thing. And that is what we need to understand. Did you know that everything you thought you knew about the gray agenda could be wrong? Imagine that the beings you have been thinking about as invaders, manipulators, or even enemies are actually a future form of you, desperately trying to prevent a catastrophe that threatens their very existence. This reframes everything we have come to know and puts a big question mark on the grays' true intentions. It raises a huge question as to the actions of the grays in our modern world, and if it is truly benevolent. But can we truly trust their methods, even if their intentions are noble? Now, we must ask ourselves, what if these actions are not about domination, but about survival? What if the genetic flaw that the grays have might be the thing that saves the modern-day human? This opens the possibility that the gray agenda is not a hostile takeover, but a desperate act of self-preservation, a future generation reaching back through time to correct a devastating mistake. Are the grays acting in their own best interest, or are they acting in the best interest of humanity? What if the answer is both? The evidence for a benevolent gray agenda is, admittedly, circumstantial, but compelling nonetheless. Abductees have told stories of seeing future catastrophic events that could wipe out the human race. These visions often include environmental disasters of unprecedented scale, devastating wars that engulf the planet, and pandemics that decimate the population. Leaked documents reveal deep concerns from the Greys and their need to intervene in order to stop a catastrophe. So-and-so was saying, "I saw a future where the earth was barren, the skies were black, and humanity was on the brink of extinction. They showed me that we were the cause, that our actions were leading us to this terrible fate." Remote viewers have told of the Greys and what they have witnessed, and that a global disaster is coming in the near future. They describe a sense of urgency and desperation, a relentless drive to prevent a global disaster that looms on the horizon. There have been a few accounts of people being abducted and shown how to correct the future, only to forget when they awaken. But what if these glimpses are not just warnings, but also contain the seeds of solutions, the knowledge needed to avert the impending catastrophe? Can we, as a species, heed these warnings before it's too late? The implications of a benevolent gray agenda are profound. They could be here for our own good, only acting in order to help. It challenges our understanding of ethics, morality, and the very nature of free will. The abductions are used on people in positions to cause damage, in order to keep them from causing damage. Is it justifiable to violate individual autonomy for the sake of the greater good? Is it acceptable to manipulate human consciousness to prevent a future catastrophe? These are not easy questions, and there are no easy answers. If this is for the greater good, then a few lives lost is worth it. Perhaps the Greys, with their advanced understanding of time and causality, can see the long-term consequences of our actions more clearly than we can. Maybe the Greys can see more than us and know that what they are doing is for the best. What if their interventions, while seemingly intrusive and disturbing, are ultimately necessary to ensure humanity's survival? It is impossible to truly understand our history, and if the Greys have had a hand in it at all. This does not mean, however, that we must blindly accept their actions. We must continue to question, to analyze, and to strive for a deeper understanding of their motives. If the Greys can truly show that they are acting in the best interest of mankind, this would change everything. It would transform our perception of them from malevolent invaders to reluctant saviors, forced to make difficult choices for the sake of humanity's future. What is the hybrid program in all of this? Is it truly to save the Greys or to help ensure humanity survives? What if the hybrid program is about saving humanity from the future? If the modern human has no hope, what if the new generation of humans can change all of that? Let us now consider the hybrid program, not as a means of creating a new species, but as a solution to humanity's self-destructive tendencies. There have been stories about abductees seeing a reflection of themselves in the hybrid children and knowing everything will be okay. What if the hybrid beings are not just a mix of human and gray DNA, but a new generation of humans designed to overcome the challenges of the future? The star children that have been born over the last few years have the potential to save the world. Leaked documents explain a more resilient human being that is born, and how their purpose in life is to save the world. Remote viewers have told of a new wave of people who are here to change the world's consciousness. They are said to possess enhanced resilience, empathy, and problem-solving abilities, qualities that will be essential for navigating the complex challenges of the future. The enhanced genome is not for the Greys' own survival, but for the future generations of the human race. They do not see the present-day humans as a waste, but as people who need to be saved. What if the gray agenda is not about control, but about nurturing the potential within humanity to create a brighter future? the actions of the Greys may lead to a new horizon for the human race. The Grey agenda is not just about genetic survival or hybrid creation, but about the fate of humanity across time, with the Greys potentially being our future selves trying to prevent a catastrophic event and guide us towards a brighter future. And just like that, a new path forward becomes clear, and the Greys' intentions are no longer hidden. Ethical issues are not as clear, and they become more subjective as we go down the rabbit hole. What if the key to saving ourselves lies not in resisting the Grey agenda, but in understanding it? Do we sacrifice ourselves to the greater good, or do we live on not knowing what could have been? What if the sacrifices made today are necessary to ensure a future worth living? The answers, as we shall see, may lie hidden within the very fabric of time itself. So, now that we know that the Greys are likely our descendants coming from the future, we need to examine their end game and determine what the next steps are that they will likely take. What if their survival depends on more than just altering the past? What if it relies on transferring their consciousness into new bodies? This raises a critical question about the consciousness transfer process and if it can truly secure the Greys' future. Consciousness transfer is something that has been discussed for years and is now a real concept in our modern society. Even in today's reality, we are working to upload our brains and consciousness in order to achieve immortality. We are working to back up our memories and feelings so that we can live forever. What if the Greys are doing this to save themselves? This raises an even more important question. What if the Greys need to transfer their consciousness into human bodies to ensure their survival? There have been remote viewer accounts that the Grey beings are using a new technology in order to do the swap. The remote viewers have told of times where they have seen people hooked up to a machine with a Grey standing beside them. They have also said that they can see the consciousness leaving the Grey and going into the human body. How does this look like for the abductees, and what are the next steps? What if the abductees are already implanted to receive the consciousness of a Grey? Alleged documents state that there are several requirements for the consciousness to be transferred. These documents talk of a need for a certain type of brainwave, and how the abductee needs to be very relaxed and not fighting the process. These abductees are also younger and their bodies are less damaged, so it is easier for the Greys to inhabit them. The documents stated that this process can be difficult, but the reward is worth it. This has led many to speculate about the true nature of the abductions, and if it is more than a simple transfer. Many people have told of times where the Greys are doing tests, and what this means for the abductee and their personal life. So-and-so was saying, "I remember laying on a table and a Grey was standing over me. He had a device and he put it on my head, and then everything went black." Many people are traumatized after these experiences. What they don't tell you is that the brain has the ability to retain memories through frequencies, and these frequencies are easily transferred. Science says that in order to have a successful consciousness transfer, the memories need to be easily transferred. Memories must be similar in order for the transfer to be successful. Could this mean that the Greys and humans are more alike than we thought? The ability to transfer emotions and feelings is extremely important for the future of the Grey. It is also important for them to know how to live as humans, so the more memories they can obtain, the better. The ethics of this transplant would be a large concern, but if the Greys are going to go extinct, then they are simply trying to survive and will stop at nothing to live on. There are many things the Greys are willing to do in order to not die, and the survival of their species is at stake. The lengths that they will go to will be dangerous and likely immoral in the modern human perspective. The true ethical question in this is that it would likely eliminate who the person once was, and all memory of that existence would be eliminated. If the human were at the end of their life, would this not be a new chance at a new life? This is where a moral obligation must be weighed by the Grey to justify the transfer. The abductees would need to consent, but that would likely not happen, so it is forced upon people. The Greys likely don't see any issue with doing this because they see it as a need and not a want. What if the life of the Greys depended on this action? It would be extremely traumatizing for anyone to have a foreign consciousness living within them. This can cause mental instability, loss of identity, and a total change in personality. The human mind can only sustain so much before it breaks. The Greys would need to be careful, as they may accidentally destroy the vessel. What if they have already learned how to do this without any major trauma to the host? Is it really saving that person's life, or is it simply an act of murder? This raises a serious question about the morality of the Greys and if they are benevolent. Even though the Greys may be future humans, they may have lost touch with their humanity. There is a great deal that could be learned from this type of process, but it is likely impossible for the modern human to truly understand. This raises an important question. Do we have our own free will when it comes to what happens to us? What if there is a much larger plan at play and we all are part of it? If the Greys are future humans, then what do we do to change the future so that this doesn't happen? If we could change the future, would it be worth it? Most abductees talk of how they are paralyzed during these procedures and can't move. So-and-so was saying, "I couldn't move my body no matter how hard I tried, and I was just forced to lay there." This shows that the abductees have no control and no free will to stop what is happening. It is a violation and shows the malevolent side of the Greys if they are willing to not give people a choice. These documents show that the Greys can use technology to manipulate thoughts and get their point across. The reports state that the Greys use frequencies in order to change the abductees' perception and make them more compliant. They also change the memories of abductees so that they are less likely to remember the abductions. This can make the abductees confused and scared. The manipulation can be severe. The subtle manipulation and suggestions can lead people down a path the Greys are looking to take. The Greys can implant certain ideas into the abductee, and they will go out and subconsciously implement those ideas into their own life. The Greys are trying to subtly change society in order to help their end game. What if their end game is actually to help humanity? If the Greys have the ability to change how we feel, do we truly have our own free will? The concept of free will becomes blurry, and the true intentions of people will come into question. People may be acting in ways that they don't realize because of the manipulation of the Greys. It is important for all humans to realize this and try to break free. With the Greys able to see into the future and manipulate the timeline, it is important to understand our role in the current timeline. We must start to become conscious of what it is that is going on so that we can ensure our future and humanity's survival. The consciousness of people in the world will start to decide the future of humanity. If the future can be changed, then all must wake up. Is it possible for us to ensure our own fate, or has it already been decided? Has the future already been written in stone, or do we still have a say? What if the fate of humanity actually relies on the choices we make in this exact moment? Did you know that the future of humanity may rest not in technology, but in the untapped potential of the human mind? We know that the human race has some kind of control over the future if we can all agree. But what if there was a way to actively resist the Greys' influence, to push back with powers they can't control? This raises the tantalizing possibility that psychic abilities are not just fringe phenomena, but the key to disrupting the Grey agenda and reclaiming our destiny. There have been whispers, stories passed among those who claim to have been abducted, of individuals resisting Grey control through the sheer force of their minds. There have been some stories of abductees being able to use mind power to not be abducted at all. They speak of blocking telepathic communication, resisting the implantation of devices, even escaping abductions altogether. This is often passed off as mental illness or delusional thinking, but the consistency of these accounts and the alleged reactions of the Greys suggests something far more profound is at play. According to alleged leaked documents, these abilities worry the Greys to the point where they target those with these psychic abilities. These documents purportedly detail Grey concerns about human psychic potential and their efforts to suppress it. The documents speak of targeted campaigns of disinformation, psychological manipulation, and even physical interventions designed to neutralize individuals exhibiting strong psychic abilities. These interventions range from subtle suggestion to more overt forms of control, all aimed at preventing humans from fully realizing their psychic potential. Moreover, remote viewers have seen an increase in these cases over the past few years. These targeted people are often seen as outliers to society due to what has happened to them. What are the implications of these accounts? What if psychic abilities are a natural defense mechanism against Grey control, an evolutionary response to an existential threat? It is possible this is an evolutionary step in the human race. Perhaps certain individuals are naturally immune to Grey manipulation due to their heightened psychic sensitivity, as though a psychic shield surrounds them. These people could be immune due to the higher power they wield. It is hard to say with any kind of certainty, but the remote viewers have told of these beings. Humans need to train these abilities in order to become a major force and not to be manipulated. Those with these abilities are often not looked at as stable, and they are seen as outliers. Is it possible the Greys are deliberately suppressing or eliminating these individuals in order to maintain their control? The question then becomes if we can find a way to use these abilities for the betterment of the human race. With the psychic ability, the Greys might have some difficulty taking over the human race. With more people developing these psychic abilities, the question is, can the human race awaken to save itself? A psychic wave washing over the human race would leave the Greys almost powerless. But what would a psychic awakening look like? How could it change the course of human history? Certain events in history have the opportunity to alter and change the course of humanity. Is such an event on the horizon? There have been alleged abductee accounts of experiencing a surge of psychic energy or awareness during their encounters with the Greys. There have been stories of people having visions from the future in times of intense stress and pressure. These individuals describe moments of clarity, visions of the future, or a sudden understanding of the Greys' intentions. It is as if the trauma of the abduction unlocks a dormant psychic potential within them. Some abductees claim to have accessed knowledge beyond their normal comprehension, gaining insights into the nature of reality, the Grey agenda, and humanity's place in the cosmos. The Greys fear the powers we can wield, and the future can change and stop what they are doing. Alleged leaked documents discuss Grey fears of a mass psychic awakening and strategies to prevent it. They discuss the potential for a collective shift in human consciousness, a psychic tipping point that could render the Greys obsolete. The documents outline various measures to suppress this awakening, including the manipulation of human beliefs, the control of information, and the active suppression of psychic individuals. Also, there have been many cases of normal people having insight and knowledge of events before they happen. It has been thought that near-death experiences increase and activate these dormant psychic abilities. Is it possible that the Greys are orchestrating events to trigger this change? The human race has the opportunity to control its own destiny. The Grey agenda is not inevitable, and humanity has the potential to reclaim its future by developing its psychic abilities and resisting manipulation. We have a chance to alter the path and make the future for the next generation of human beings. If we all are awake and aware of what is happening, then the future is not set in stone. What is needed in order to trigger this awakening in the human race? Now we must ask, are we destined to our fate, or will we start to shape the future we all live in? Is humanity on the verge of a mass awakening, a psychic revolution that will shatter the Greys' control and usher in a new era of human potential. Even with the human race starting to use psychic ability, can we truly say the Greys will be completely stopped? The Greys are very intelligent, so is it possible that the Grey agenda can move and shift as things change? Perhaps the Greys are adapting to human psychic resistance by changing their methods and goals. Is humanity's psychic awakening simply forcing the Greys to change their tactics, creating a new, more subtle form of control? Even though it is possible for the human race to win out, what if there is no real win? Stories from abductees indicate that the Greys have switched up what they have been doing. Is this a sign of the Greys losing, or a sign that the human race is winning? Alleged leaked documents talk of methods to stop these abilities from growing out of control by targeting key leaders. Perhaps these targeted leaders are the key to the plan, and they know they can stop them if they target them. Remote viewers have stated that what the end goal is may change and have nothing to do with genetics. In fact, it has been speculated that what they are looking for may have nothing to do with the human race at all. The Greys are well known to have used methods of social engineering from the past. They've always been watching and learning. What if stopping the physical interaction will lead to something worse and change the mindset of people in the world? This would mean that they don't need a physical presence in the world. The human strength may also be their weakness, and the Greys may know that. Even though the numbers are growing, it is impossible for us to truly overcome such a superior power. There is no stopping their knowledge and power unless we are all aligned. We may not know what is truly going to come due to the meddling of the Greys. The Greys are known to have tampered with many things in the universe. There are very few that can tap into the use of psychic ability due to mental illness or other disorders. Those with mental illness are often discredited, and sometimes these are the people who can help the most. This is just another way for these people to be held down. So far the Greys have shown that they can be a danger, but it has become clear that we may be able to help. We must now ask, what is it that the Greys are truly going to do? Is the Grey agenda leading humanity towards a new era of enlightenment and cooperation, or a subtle form of enslavement? A cooperative future for both the Greys and the human race is what we should strive for, but should they be trusted? We are destined to either win or lose against the Greys and have a new role in the universe. It has been seen that the Greys were our ancestors, and we have gotten lost from what our destiny should be. This might be the only way for them to get us back to that goal. The Greys, our ancestors, have the possibility of a new role. The journey we all share can take the world in many different paths. Will we go down the right one? If we stay with awareness, we can change our destiny and the destiny of those who come after us. It is truly up to the people who make it up and where we are truly destined to be. Will humanity choose a path of enlightenment and cooperation, or will it succumb to the evolving threat of the Grey agenda? With the amount of power the Greys hold, it is truly up to them, or so we think. Even though everything is up in the air and there is a fork in the road, will humanity be able to make the right choice to go down? What truly lies down these paths, and will it be for the betterment of mankind? There are those that are hoping for a symbiotic relation that will help push both the Greys and the human race into a new era. Will a joint effort to solve problems, or a shared understanding come to fruition? With this cooperation, it may be possible for the two races to have something to learn from the other. Humanity's understanding of emotion and creativity could benefit the Greys, while the Greys' advanced technology and scientific knowledge could propel humanity forward. It might be possible that if both races are on the same page, then this might usher in a new era. If that is the case, what exactly would that look like, and if it is truly something that can happen? What role would humanity play in this new era, and would the Grey agenda truly become a partnership? It is rare for those who have been abducted to see a good thing coming from these experiences. Many abductees report feelings of fear, violation, and trauma. They very rarely have a good experience. Is it possible, however, that these experiences can be reinterpreted as a painful, but necessary, step towards a greater good? It is rumored that they want to find out the driving force behind humans and why they do what they do. Alleged leaked documents discuss the Greys' interest in human ethics, philosophy, and spirituality, suggesting a desire for a deeper understanding of human values. These accounts speak of the Greys observing human behavior, studying our social structures, and even attempting to understand our art and music. But what if this is not a prelude to manipulation, but rather a genuine attempt to bridge the gap between two vastly different civilizations? If humanity and the Greys can come together, it would push the human race much further than it has ever been. Remote viewers' observations of future timelines where humans and Greys are working together to solve global problems, explore the universe, and advance consciousness are more common than one might think. Visions of humans and Greys collaborating on scientific breakthroughs, exploring new dimensions, and co-creating a future of peace and prosperity are out there. But how could this vision of harmony become a reality, and what changes would be necessary for both species to embrace such a future? Grey society might have not always been on this path, and something in the past must have forced this action. What pivotal event or realization caused the Greys to shift their focus from genetic manipulation to potential cooperation, and what can we learn from their journey? Humanity is at a major stepping stone and can push forward into a greater destiny. The implications of a symbiotic future are profound. A new era of enlightenment, cooperation, and shared evolution for both humans and Greys is on the horizon. What impact would this have on human society, and how would it reshape our understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe? There is a chance this is for the best in the long term, and that we are not seeing the big picture. But is this path one that is going to truly destroy humanity, or can the human spirit shine through and save what it can? Despite the potential benefits, a symbiotic future presents significant challenges. The history of human-Grey interactions is fraught with distrust, fear, and allegations of exploitation. How can we overcome this legacy of trauma and build a foundation of mutual respect and understanding? There is a big ask for these two different species to live together in peace, and whether or not that is actually possible, will that be something that will be a good thing? If the hybrid children can walk amongst human beings, then there is a better chance for the two races to truly live together in peace. The role of hybrid children in this symbiotic future cannot be overstated. These beings, part human and part Grey, may serve as the bridge between two worlds. What unique abilities and perspectives do they possess, and how can they help us navigate the complexities of this interspecies relationship? The ultimate choice for our species will be up to the future generations. We have explored the potential for a symbiotic future and the challenges of achieving it. We have examined the evidence supporting this vision and the counterarguments that question its feasibility. But what if the Grey agenda is not about control or cooperation, but about something else entirely that is out of the realm of understanding? What if there are things that we cannot understand and are outside of our ability to see? These things may not have been understood, so we do not have a full picture. What if the Grey agenda is driven by motivations that are so alien to human comprehension that we cannot even begin to fathom them? Is it possible that their actions are guided by a logic that transcends our understanding of space, time, and causality? This journey may lead to a world of riches. Everything comes down to where we are at the moment and if we are able to change things. The Grey agenda, despite what has been said, is at a fork in the road and will be for years to come. Will humanity be able to survive what comes next? What will the journey be and where will it take us? It is important for the human race to come to a consensus. The stakes are high, and the future of humanity may depend on our ability to rise to the challenge. We all are in this together, and it is important to not forget that. Is it going to be a bad ending, or is there something to learn? If it can be learned, there might be a chance. Even though there is a chance for the human race and the Greys to work together in harmony, there may be a great deal we are not able to see. Even if we are on a path towards a brighter destiny, we might have blinders on, preventing us from seeing the full picture of what is truly at stake. The core of this is the Grey agenda and what it is truly about. Is there something we are unable to know because we simply lack the ability to grasp what it is that these superior entities know? What if there are abilities they have that we can't even fathom, and how would we even prepare for that? The limits of human perception, knowledge, and cognitive abilities may prevent us from truly grasping their motives. What if the tools and senses available to us are just not enough to see what is truly happening? If that were to be the case, that the human race is unable to ever reach the understanding, is it even worth it to try? Are we trying to understand something that is impossible for us to grasp? Maybe the Grey agenda and what is happening has no true meaning, just something that happens in the vast cosmos. Now, it is important to understand that there is anecdotal evidence from abductees who describe experiences that defy human logic and understanding. These accounts can vary wildly, with people seeing different colors, feeling different things, and a different understanding of what is happening. Many claim to enter altered states of consciousness, where the regular laws of physics and reality seem to bend or break. Others have described encounters with non-physical entities, beings of light or energy that communicate telepathically or through emotions. These accounts are unexplainable, but are they real? There are philosophical and scientific theories that suggest the existence of realities beyond human perception. String theory, quantum physics, and the holographic universe all hint at the possibility of dimensions and realities that we cannot directly perceive with our senses. String theory has been discussed for years, but yet we are still unable to grasp what it means. Also, mystic traditions have told that there are people who were able to tap into more than what the human race has tapped into. There have been monks and other religious figures who were able to tap into these states, but yet are not understood. There is some data from religious figures such as monks that can help point to there being more than meets the eye. There are monks that can sit in the ice-cold rain and not feel a thing. They also have documented themselves astral projecting and other things that would seem impossible. With this evidence, this raises the question of whether our own understanding and human abilities are lacking compared to others. If we are unable to see it, how can we prepare for it? Even with all of this, humanity may never fully understand the Grey agenda. We need to come to grips with the fact that we might not be able to comprehend what is happening. Because we may never come to this understanding, the search for meaning and purpose in the Grey agenda may be futile, as it may operate on a level beyond human comprehension. We might be here and are only a small portion of a bigger puzzle, not able to change anything that happens or what the future holds. However, we should continue to strive for knowledge and understanding. Even if there is a limited understanding of what is truly happening, we still need to strive to understand, even if there is nothing we can do. There are so many limitations of human language and concepts in describing the unknowable. Maybe there is no language that can truly describe what is happening and how these things are being done. Is there something in our DNA that holds us back from reaching what we could truly reach? If the only limitations we have are what we put on ourselves, then there may be a world we are able to tap into. Even though there is no way to comprehend, we need to continue. This leads to something very interesting, and that is, what if this is an eternal cycle? What if we are simply reliving this now, and what if we have no impact on it? If that were to be the case, that would mean we truly have no purpose or change. What if this is always happening and we are just a small ant on a big planet? There may be a reason that the Greys have come and will always come. There is nothing we can truly do to change the outcome, and that we are just along for the ride. There is a good chance that all of this has been written and is meant to be. However, there are alleged abductee accounts that describe seeing historical events and knowing that things are repeating. They are able to see back in time and have seen the same events happen, just with a different time and place. Is it possible that this is all just meant to be? There are also alleged leaked documents discussing the Greys' actions that have subtle suggestions, manipulation, and what we have. It is even said that the government knows that they have lost the ability to protect us and are preparing for something they can't truly prepare for. But if they can't prepare for it, how is the human race supposed to prepare? Maybe they are just making sure there is a future at all. However, remote viewers have observations of cycles and what it means for us. The remote viewers have seen the timeline's loop, but have said that there are ways to change it and it is not set in stone. Examples from the past may point to why things may be looping. The collapse of Rome happened, but not a lot of these writings are available. They are hidden from the masses and it is unknown why. Is it possible that is what is happening now? And will humanity be able to grow into something better, or will they collapse on themselves? There is nothing left for the human race to do but sit back and prepare for the end. There may be something beyond what we truly know, and that is something we are unable to truly know. Even though these things are happening, it may be up to us. We truly don't know as much as we hope, and that can be both enlightening and terrifying. It is also important that we make these changes even though it is an uphill battle. The next steps will determine if this is the end or if there is still time to grow as a race. With what knowledge we have now, can this change where we are meant to be? There is just too much that we don't know, maybe one day. What if we are able to find new meanings? Even though these things are happening, it may be up to us. We truly don't know as much as we hope, and that can be both enlightening and terrifying. It is also important that we make these changes even though it is an uphill battle. The next steps will determine if this is the end or if there is still time to grow as a race. With what knowledge we have now, can this change where we are meant to be? There is just too much that we don't know, maybe one day. What if we are able to find new meanings? Did you know that the Greys are a species that has surpassed our ability to learn and grow so far? The core of this is their agenda, and we have to wonder if what they want is symbiosis or is it something else? What if the long-term plan for both humans and Greys is to ascend into a higher dimension of existence? This is known as seventh density, a place we could only dream of. What if what they are trying to achieve is the understanding of the higher self and how to get there? These tests and abductions and consciousness transfers might be for something greater than we could even imagine. Many different religions have told of these levels of enlightenment. What if the Greys might be the key for us? If the Greys are trying to get us to evolve and we fight back, are we hurting ourselves and our potential future? But what does that truly mean for the survival of the human race? And are we willing to potentially do what it takes to get to this higher level of existence? Many alleged abductee accounts detail experiences that hint at the Greys taking them through higher dimensions. They describe vibrant colors, sounds, and emotions that defy human comprehension, a symphony of sensation beyond our ordinary senses. They speak of encounters with beings of pure light and energy, entities that transcend physical form and communicate through telepathy and direct emotional resonance. But what if these experiences are not just random occurrences, but carefully orchestrated attempts to prepare the human consciousness for a transition to a higher plane of existence? There are also alleged leaked documents discussing the Greys' goals of escaping third density and its limitations. These documents, often dismissed as hoaxes or disinformation, paint a picture of a species trapped in a cycle of physical decay and spiritual stagnation. They reveal a desperate search for a way to break free from the constraints of their physical existence and ascend to a higher level of consciousness, a realm of pure energy and unlimited potential. Is the Grey's end goal something that we simply cannot grasp in our current bodies? If it is not something we can grasp, is it even something we would want? Remote viewers' observations, often shrouded in secrecy and controversy, suggest that the human race will inadvertently destroy the Greys by preventing their transcendence. They see a future where humanity, driven by fear and ignorance, lashes out at the Greys, disrupting their carefully laid plans and condemning them to an eternity of suffering. But is it truly in our best interest to do that and allow them to escape to this higher plane? Many religions believe that there is more to this than the human eye can see, and it has been spoken about for centuries. It may be that the Greys are a key and the first step into reaching higher states of consciousness. Is it possible that this is simply the Grey way, and we need to allow it to happen? Are we truly holding ourselves back more than we can fathom? The truth is it could be. There is more than what meets the eye. It has been told that monks and other religious figures are able to tap into something more than the human race is able to do. Is this seventh density truly for our benefit, or is this something they have been striving for and using humans for? This raises so many questions of what would that look like for the Greys. Also, the Greys cannot reach the final dimension of transcendence, and they require a human to do so. They are unable to do so without our assistance. They require our genetic and spiritual code. Are we the only ones who can make the final leap? Or can it be done with just genetic material and mind? Maybe they are using the abductees to build a bridge that they cannot truly build without us. This raises questions of if this has been done before, and if they are simply repeating the cycle. It might be that this is something beyond our comprehension, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be asking the questions. These questions are very important, but yet we may never know the answer. If we want to survive, we need to know what is at stake. The understanding of how this would truly happen is so out of reach that it is almost comical. If we can't comprehend it, does it even matter? With our limited knowledge of the cosmos, can we even attempt to reach for more than we are capable of? The only way to ascend to a higher level of existence is if we work as one. If one of us doesn't, then we are doomed. The only way this is possible is if both the Greys and the human race have the same intentions of saving each other. Without that connection, the Earth will be doomed for an eternity. It is also important to note that it does not need to be every single person on the planet, but it is a majority that needs to attempt this. The Greys' agenda might be all for nothing, but it is an important discussion to have. However, is everything that we have been told even remotely true? We have no idea what truly to believe. With all of this, there is nothing to say what we are being told is right or wrong. Are we just puppets on the stage being used for their enjoyment and a sick game that they have been a part of? Maybe the only true way to win is to not play at all. But here is what most people miss: the fact that all we have been told has never been proven, and there is no way to prove it. And it is possible that we are simply living in a matrix and nothing is real. So what is the point of even trying? However, this may not be the case, and we should simply still attempt to do the best we can. The best people that we have to go off of are the words of deranged people. With this, there is nothing to say that they are telling the truth or are remembering it correctly. There are many things that can happen to one's mind that is easily corrupted. Also, maybe it is simply that the human body is unable to fully process what they are seeing. It has been said that those that are in charge are attempting to simply scare the population, and they are false, and there is nothing to fear. All of this fear is a tactic to divide and conquer, or maybe it is simply they are attempting to get people ready for what they are unable to avoid. Also, the remote viewers can be easily swayed and are not truly able to be used as a great resource and have to be taken with a grain of salt. The mind can be very easily manipulated and swayed, and it is even said that the Greys themselves are good at that. The truth is that nothing is true and everything is permitted. With that being said, is it true? We are not truly sure what is coming, so you must simply just live and attempt to do what is best for the world. You must go with what your instinct says and what feels right. The Greys could simply be attempting to help, and the human race is going to destroy it. We have been told of these things that might be coming, but are they actually coming? Or are we simply living in a dream and there is nothing more than what meets the eye? With what we have been told about the Grey agenda, is it the thing that it is said to be? Maybe not. Maybe it is something far greater or far more sinister. The information that we were given could not be true, and the true thing could have more to tell than what we were able to obtain. But the information we were given from remote viewers and abductees can never be proved correct. We are at the point where there is too much that we don't know, and it is all speculation. With that, we have to use what we can and make our own decisions. There are only two things that are possible. The Grey agenda ends up a great thing and helps the human race and the Greys, or we are ruled by a species that is a lot higher than us, which may not be too bad. Maybe these people have our hearts in the right spot and are going to change our world to something better than we can do on our own. The Grey agenda may never be able to be understood, but what is next? We have delved into the intricate layers of the Grey agenda, yet what if our quest for understanding is met with an unsettling truth, that our knowledge is inherently limited, and some answers are best left undiscovered? We may be searching for answers when the true answer might not even be worth knowing. When you boil down the Grey agenda, there truly might not be an end. The abductions and testing and social engineering may never lead to anything for us to achieve. Is that a net positive? This journey, like others, has the opportunity to change what the next generation and the now generation is like. Is that a reason to give up, or is this truly the only path to take and is written for us? It is very possible that the human race is simply being used as pawns in a sick and deranged game. But who is playing this game? As the Greys are from the future, it is very possible that genetic problems are behind them, and they simply no longer care and are acting on impulses. What if they have reached a point of boredom so profound that manipulating entire species is their only source of entertainment? If it is not the Greys that we are pawns for, then what species would be that are higher and smarter than us? Consider entities residing in dimensions beyond our perception. Beings whose motivations are as alien to us as our own are to ants. If we work towards something unobtainable, then we will never truly stop working towards what we think is a goal. What if the true end goal is not a tangible objective, but rather the endless pursuit itself, a cosmic treadmill designed to keep us perpetually striving, never achieving? Does one species truly have the right to treat all others as playthings, even if they are smarter and more evolved than us? Such a scenario presents profound ethical dilemmas. We simply have no idea what anyone might think. Maybe to the higher entities, we are worth less than ants. What will the end goal actually be, and how will we react if we are to ever get there? Will it come with world peace or utter chaos? What if the very notion of saving humanity is a fallacy, a self-imposed delusion that blinds us to the true nature of our existence? As what has been said many times before, can we be truly saved, or are we simply stuck on this mortal coil? Maybe that is all we truly are and what we are here to do. A giant experiment in order to see what happens in our society. What if the Grey agenda is not about genetic manipulation or interdimensional ascension, but simply a vast, uncontrolled experiment with no purpose beyond observation? The never-ending game has many loops, but what does that all truly mean? The possibility that we are mere playthings in a cosmic game raises a fundamental question. With the high possibility we are in a game or experiment, what is it that we truly know? What are the facts? Not what has been fed to us, but what is actually going on. The knowledge we have can change our ways and make everything right, so long as we know the truth. Maybe the only good that is set in stone is that we were born on the planet Earth. Maybe the only true thing we have is where we came from. We simply are at an impasse and do not know what is truly going to come of it. It is a stark realization that our understanding of the gray agenda is built upon a foundation of speculation and conjecture. With only the knowledge we have, what is it that we can truly do to have that ability to make a change? We all will be a part of the long run, and it is important to remember that our opinion matters the most. There needs to be discussion to figure out what path is the right path. There might not be a right path, and that is something that needs to be remembered. How do we make a change or make any kind of impact when there is simply nothing we can really do? That might just be the end-all be-all. Is there truly a good way or path that can be taken, or are they all going to end with the destruction of the human race and our future? Even if we dedicate ourselves to studying the gray agenda, tirelessly piecing together fragmented evidence and deciphering cryptic clues, it is conceivable that our efforts will ultimately prove futile. It's possible that this grand tapestry of abductions, genetic manipulation, and social engineering is woven without a discernible pattern, a cosmic accident devoid of inherent purpose. Could it be that all we've uncovered, all we strive to understand, will never truly amount to anything in the grand scheme of existence? Is this journey ultimately a fool's errand? If that is the case, then perhaps the gray agenda and all that has transpired to this point will never hold any long-term significance. What if there's no benevolent guidance, no malevolent puppeteer pulling the strings, but merely a series of random events unfolding without rhyme or reason? That might be the most unsettling possibility of all, a universe governed by chance, where our hopes and fears are equally meaningless. If this is all random, then all hope truly may be lost, with no grand design to guide us, no cosmic justice to await. So what does that make our reality if we are all truly just pawns, moved about on a board we cannot even see? Consider this. Alleged abductees often report a chilling sense of cosmic indifference during their encounters with the Greys. The entities that are talked about during abduction often have zero emotion. Could it be that they aren't being evil but acting how they see fit, as tools? They describe a sterile, clinical environment, devoid of empathy or moral judgment. Is it possible that the Greys themselves are merely automatons, carrying out a pre-programmed directive without understanding its ultimate purpose? This echoes the existentialist philosophies of thinkers like Albert Camus and Jean-Paul Sartre, who proposed the inherent absurdity of human existence, a condition in which we are condemned to find meaning in a world that offers none. Religious texts, and so forth tell of what we are meant to do, but with what we are seeing, that doesn't hold any weight anymore. Even scientific theories lend credence to this unsettling possibility. The second law of thermodynamics dictates that the universe is trending towards entropy, a state of increasing disorder and chaos. As it stands, humanity is simply not smart enough in order to grasp any form of a true reality. With each passing moment, order gives way to randomness, structure crumbles into disarray. If this principle applies on a cosmic scale, then perhaps the gray agenda is simply another manifestation of this universal drift towards meaninglessness, a chaotic series of events unfolding without any grand plan or design. As nothing lasts forever, is there any reason to strive for a better life? Maybe to live in the now, and the heck with everyone else. But what are the implications of embracing this void, of accepting that the gray agenda may be devoid of inherent meaning? Does it liberate us from the burden of purpose, offering the opportunity to create our own values and forge our own destinies? Or does it plunge us into an abyss of nihilism and despair, stripping us of all motivation and hope? Maybe there is a chance that we are just free to live life as we feel, and the end will simply come when it comes. Perhaps recognizing the inherent absurdity of existence can be empowering, allowing us to break free from societal expectations and create our own meaning. If nothing truly matters, then maybe we should live life how we all truly wanted to, free from the constraints of societal norms and expectations. We can pursue our passions, build meaningful relationships, and create a world based on our own values. On the other hand, such a reality to some might be frightening and scary, with a loss of all meaning. The absence of inherent purpose can lead to apathy, inaction, and a sense of profound alienation. As a result, we may struggle to find motivation or direction in a world that offers no guarantees or certainties. With all that has been said to this point, does that mean that there is no hope? Maybe or maybe not. Is there truly a meaning to strive and build better relationships if these theories are true? Or is there truly no point because it will be all over in what will feel like a second? A long life can feel like a second to an entity. Even with all that might be the case, maybe it is a test to see where we stand, to see how we react to the possibility of meaninglessness. Even with everything we have learned, it is important to remember that the true reality might just be what we decide and where we end up in the end. Even if we do not know what is meant to be, there is a chance that we can still learn and that there might be a test at the end. A test where our actions and what we strive for being tested for something that we have no idea what it is. Everything will have a rippling action and we won't know how it goes. We might have wasted our entire life believing in some crazy agenda, and that may not be what it is. That is the reality of many possibilities. We might have chased a ghost, spent our lives tilting at windmills, only to discover that our efforts were ultimately pointless. What if our lives were just nothing more than a speck in the life of the universe, and simply there to be enjoyed until it is over? Maybe the best plan for all of us to simply just live and enjoy it, even if all the stress is simply a figment of our imagination. It is possible that we should reiterate that maybe this is a test, and that we should act with a high degree of character. Is it better to be good and loving, or better to be mean and destructive? In the end, is the gray agenda even worth it? I guess now it all boils down to all we have gone through. Do we live the life we want or have one of stress? What if the best path to take is the one with enjoyment? Are there other agendas at play here? As we push further into the labyrinth of the gray agenda, driven by an insatiable thirst for truth, we must acknowledge a chilling possibility, that we may never grasp the complete picture. As hard as we fight and as much research we do, we will never know what will come after and what our true fate is. Like sailors charting a course through uncharted waters, we rely on imperfect instruments and fragmented maps, forever vulnerable to the whims of the cosmic sea. Even so, the actions that we make will impact how we go about our lives and what the immediate short-term future looks like. But as for the long term, what will truly become of us? It is going to be a coin flip to decide if what we do helps out the world, or simply leads down to despair. Each decision, each act of defiance or acceptance becomes a gamble, a spin of the roulette wheel in a casino where the house always wins. Which may be true, the real problem is simply choosing the right path or the wrong one. Is there a right or wrong when one does not know what is going on? Even if we're trapped in a predetermined game, does the way we play matter, if only for a brief, fleeting moment? Now, let us consider a theory that challenges the very foundation of our individual existence, the notion that there is only one conscious being in the universe, and all other entities are merely projections of this singular awareness. What if there was only one soul out there, and we are all simply extensions of each other? That what we see and what we believe is a grand illusion. Could it be that those who are being abducted are the ones with the biggest hearts or the most intelligent minds? Those chosen for this alleged intervention, the very individuals we might pity or fear, are in fact the most attuned to the true nature of reality. If we are to wake up one day to the real world, what will it all be? Maybe our captors aren't malevolent beings from another galaxy, but something far stranger, aspects of our own higher self. These people are more in touch with everything than any other person on this planet. It may be that they know it is not real. Is our perception of their suffering merely a reflection of our own limited understanding, a distorted echo in the halls of consciousness? Is it they who will save us all in the end? If they are the most intelligent and the kindest, then surely they are meant for great things. What awaits these people in the future, and who will they become? We might be wrong, but how could it be that what we are thinking is on the right side? Are there true sides to the coin? Maybe there is a reason why the most loving and caring are the ones being experimented on. There has always been a target for people with big hearts, to lower them into simply another person who is not caring or loving. If anything, is the true purpose of the gray agenda not to create a hybrid race, but to extinguish the very spark of compassion that threatens to illuminate the darkness? Maybe we are batteries and we are there for entertainment, and what they do to us will have no change, and we simply do it for them. Perhaps we are simply batteries for a giant simulation, our experiences and emotions providing the energy to fuel some unfathomable cosmic machine. Maybe the kind ones of heart are there to power the rest. Even if that is the case, that is one thing that makes us different and unique and so hard to understand, that to them it is simply a game. So when we are facing our end, our actions at that moment is what defines everything in our future. What actions would you take? Does that final moment even truly matter, or is it simply a blip in time? The things that happen truly is not, but if we are in a dream, then there is more that we should look at. With this knowledge, we must ask, is it worth it? But to what extent if to live it all simply being in a dream, or if to be awake and ready? Does this reality even matter if it is all fake? Is that more real or a lie? Is what we perceive as reality merely a carefully constructed illusion, a puppet show enacted for our benefit or amusement? Maybe there is no way of actually knowing. There will never be a clear answer, but that also might be the best outcome. For if we knew the truth, would we simply give up and let fate play out? Maybe there is a chance all the world is one giant dream, and there is no one around us. Could there be the chance that we are the sole people or singular person out there, doing as we do in our mind? No one is watching. Maybe, just maybe, we are the creators of our own destinies, the architects of our own realities, even within this bizarre framework of abduction and experimentation. The inspiration that the Greys are pulling is the fear, if there are more than one, if it is one that is making everyone. Perhaps the Greys are not external invaders, but projections of our collective unconscious, reflections of our deepest fears and anxieties, the fear of the others. If the world has not been real this whole time, that would explain a lot, and it also is impossible to prove that it is. That all this is meant to teach us a vital lesson, to confront our shadow selves and embrace our true potential. Even the most terrible and real thing still does not make a real life to what we are looking to do as a person. Maybe this dream reality is an opportunity, a chance to learn, grow, and evolve in ways we never thought possible. Or maybe it's all just a distraction, a cosmic sideshow designed to keep us from waking up to the real truth. We could be so close, and yet so far. As we said, maybe our path has all been written in stone because there is not choice. As we reach the precipice of understanding, poised to either ascend to new heights of awareness or plummet into the depths of despair, we must ask a fundamental question. Can anything change? Is it all good or bad? And is there not a little bit of both in all circumstances of lives? Is the gray agenda an immutable force, a cosmic law that cannot be broken? Or do we, the abductees, the experimented upon, hold the key to rewriting our own destinies? That is why you have all come, and we will attempt to do as we were told. But does our individual story truly matter when we are pawns? Maybe the gray agenda is not about control, but about transformation. Is it all worth it? A journey, or a life of lies? In the end, does it even truly matter, or has to do with the journey? The questions continue to pile up. Even if the gray agenda is ultimately meaningless, individual choices still matter. But what if those consequences aren't limited to our individual lives? What if we're all connected in ways we don't understand, through a phenomenon known as quantum entanglement? If quantum entanglement is real, then every decision we make ripples through the entire universe, affecting everyone and everything, including the grays and their agenda. Does this interconnectedness change how we view the gray agenda, and does it give new weight to our individual actions? This interconnectedness through quantum entanglement changes everything we previously knew. Consider the alleged abductee accounts of experiencing a deep sense of connection with other abductees, the grays, or even the universe itself. Abductees have reported a sense of oneness with everyone. Many say that when they are there, they can feel everything. They can feel the people around them. They can feel what the grays are thinking, and they can feel what is going on in the world. What they fail to understand is where it is all coming from. Are they simply more attuned with the happenings of the universe, or are they truly plugged into something bigger? The more they think and delve into it, the more they are there. Leaked documents state that the grays have attempted to manipulate and control that connection. Many believe they use advanced technology to enhance those connections. This would allow them to tap into the energies around them and create a bigger outcome. Is the price simply too high? Quantum physics is attempting to prove that consciousness might have a direct effect on quantum entanglement. There have been stories that the people in our history knew of these entanglement and were able to manipulate them. Many have said they were able to see the future. It is all to be said that there have been more than meets the eye. It is said that quantum entanglement reveals that every action, thought, and emotion has far-reaching consequences, creating a complex web of cause and effect. The actions that one of us take may trigger something far down the time and space stream. It is best that we are all to be kind. One little negative could start the beginning of the end, which simply means we should be there for each other and pick each other up when times are tough. To be there for one another is the key to the puzzle of what is going on with the gray agenda and the abductions. The grays may actually be depending on the actions of the human race for all to go according to plan, whatever the plan may truly be. But it is important to acknowledge that there are still more for us to learn, and it is an ongoing process to truly understand how things truly connect for us. Is that the true goal, to learn and be there for each other? The biggest hurdle we have is our simple understanding. If we cannot grasp, there is no way to stop whatever is truly going on. Does that stop us from attempting to do so? What we do is not important, for if we are to not attempt, then all is lost. Was it meant for us to grow up to go to the grocery store and buy the groceries we did? It is quite possible. Are the controllers giving us the illusion of free will? Is what we do in this life just some long-term plan with these powers at play? Or is it all simply chaos? There is plenty for us to still learn, even if there is more that we have already learned. Even in the grand scheme of the entire universe, or whatever higher entities have in plans for us. What is that ultimate test that everyone must go through in order to have something come forward, and have things come to the point where it has been? It is all riding on it. Every choice is a piece that is happening at that moment. For as long as the human race has lived, there has never been a time that has been easy or without struggles. Now, this leads us to the collective choice that the power of quantum entanglement could bring, and what is the best thing to come of it. But can it be good? Quantum entanglement suggests that our choices have universal consequences, but the connections we have may lead to different things than we would have ever truly believed. At this point in our growth as the human race, it may be the end. But what does that truly mean? As time is simply linear and as such, does it truly have a say as to where we end up? Will the connections we have lead to bad results, or will they lead us to a golden age? As we know, a single butterfly action can lead to something very large. Will this be our extinction? Actions do have a say, and we need to be careful what that actually entails for all to come together. Those small and simple actions will weigh heavily in what our future may look like, and will have a serious action later. The end could simply be the end of a cycle or a new beginning. Even the gray agenda, with all that it is, might just be a changing of the guard, as we might have already seen in the past. All of this could mean simply nothing as we repeat, and the cycle will happen. As the saying goes, history tends to repeat itself over and over and over, as we might just simply see. But are these cycles avoidable? As we know, there are many ways that our world will eventually come to pass, but are all of these set in stone? Is free will truly ours, or just an illusion given to us by these grays? We can always be happy for the big and small things and know there is only one chance for those actions. But if that is all, have the grays had a part in this? As it has come to this, is the gray agenda with us, or simply here to do something else, or even to help us without knowing they are? And if an end were to come, would it truly be all bad? Is it the end of the old but a start to something new? A fresh start? Maybe a lot of it boils down to the new generations as they have been, and if what they do to change what is what. But has there been a study on the quantum level of the gray agenda? We do not know. Perhaps that is what they don't want us to know. Those simple and not so simple things that our ancestors did is how we are going to live our lives, and that is the reality. If it is to have a true end, what is next? Or if it is a new beginning, how will we start? The gray agenda is going to dictate all, and we will be along for the ride. The new path that is opened for the grays might need our help, or it may require our destruction in order to come to where they once were, at the top. It will be what will be. Is it meant to be? Did the timeline change, or have we always been on the correct path? All of the answers to this lay with the grays. We can take a step back and see how it all will go, or we can get in and fight and force it to be what we want. Does the hard part end up becoming the good part, or does it simply make all get worse? This has always been a debate for as long as people lived. The gray agenda is in motion, whether we like it or not. It does not really matter what we might think is the best choice, as it will continue on. But at the end, it might have been something so big. At the end, we could be left wondering and wandering as to how there could have ever been this big of a plot line in something as grand as the world. As many of us are, we must look at it. Was the time truly ever worth anything in this story? Or was it meant for us to know these things, no matter how they truly end up? The implications of the gray agenda and the grays' actions may be far greater than we can possibly fathom. Are they really aliens from another planet, or are they us from a different timeline? As time goes on, what will become of this timeline? Will we all fall, as the Mayan calendar has predicted? Or will the stars realign for us, as many ancient civilizations have theorized? The truth is out there for us, but are we truly ready for it? Even after all that we have studied, learned, and pieced together, has it all ever truly mattered to begin with? It is important to continue learning and studying, but is it all simply for naught? As we have been told time and time again, does anything we do truly matter? The most common, and perhaps most true, fate is what may scare many people the most. Eventually, we all perish in death, but what if that is all it is? Is there truly nothing more to all of it? All the great and horrible things that happen throughout our lives, all could be meaningless if death is truly the end of it all. The long-time watchers, whether the grays or something else, will simply move on. We may end up getting replaced as we slowly fade off into the history that comes to be. As the past will always repeat itself, will those hard times simply do the same as well? But here is the truth. The smartest and most loving are rarely put in charge, which may show that nothing is ever truly earned. But is that just truly the case? Maybe those in charge are only meant to be there to see the world fall into the exact place it is destined to be. The leaders that we have are on a mission to see the world fall into the hands of those that know nothing. What if there is a code to all of this? If what all of this is true, then why do the Greys pick these people? It can't simply be for their destruction, can it? The Greys never end up choosing people who are set in good standards. The Greys tend to choose those that will end up falling to the path of corruption. Maybe we'll never know the true reason. All that we can truly do is simply continue on with our lives, never knowing what anything actually is. Does it all boil down to fate? Do we really not have a say in where we go? If these theories are to be true, is our path already destined? Is what we believe and where we end up going is truly set in stone from the beginning? What if love, happiness, and all the good things are not here to truly help? What if they only make it worse on those around us? Maybe all that hate and anger is the only thing that will save us all, if that is the route we wish to take. Maybe there are simply some things that we are destined to never change or understand. That might be one of them. It all might be for nothing when it comes to those that we are fighting, or are we? Maybe it is our future forms, or something even more that is not even remotely what we think. Is that what the Grey agenda is truly about? The options here are endless, and it just goes to show that it is one of the most thought-provoking things in our reality, if we truly live in one. But what if these Greys are something beyond that? What if they are a highly advanced version of humans from the distant future, attempting to correct a genetic flaw in their lineage by altering the past? What if what is meant to happen has already happened? The options here are endless. If we do end as we are destined to do, what comes of all the abductions? There are countless of those out there who are being taken, but we are not truly sure as to where that will ever truly go. Is there a plan for something great for them? It is also important to know what the what of the world is, and if there is a chance for all of us to end up with something that helps. There has to be a reason as to why it all ends up boiling down to our end. What if it all had something to do with our beginning? Maybe if we are meant to die, it is to be great for something new. The new might not be human, but what if it is something far greater? Or maybe that is just what it is. At the end of the day, as it is the current moment, are we going to look back and smile, or hang our heads in shame? If what is next may very well be from the actions of the past, the future may or may not be something for us but for them. Does it come with reward? Or does it come with consequence for the many that we had to watch cry? All may not ever come to plan as we might wish it to be, but as we know, we will all make a decision. That is, maybe, all that life as a whole truly boils down to. Decisions for the betterment, the now, and the ones to come. In all, if we do die and it truly means nothing to our personal existence, then was the Grey agenda a gift to all to come? Or was it a curse for all that we have been through in the end? Then where will all that information all land? As many might now know, we need to truly go on the path that is destined to all. But where does that path truly lead? If we do die and it truly means nothing to our personal existence, then was the Grey agenda a gift to all to come? Or was it a curse for all that we have been through in the end? Then where will all that information all land? As many might now know, we need to truly go on the path that is destined to all. But where does that path truly lead? As we reach the end of our exploration into the perplexing theory of the Grey agenda, it is time to bring together all the pieces of this intricate puzzle, so we can dive into what it all truly means to what all is taking place. We have looked into how the Greys, who may in fact be future versions of humans, appear to be driven by genetic decay and proceed to extract DNA, often through ways that are non-consensual. We've also looked into the concept of underground facilities and hybrid beings being created, with plans for them to be implemented into society. We've also looked into how they could be here to save us, or if their actions are the direct cause to something completely different. Like detectives piecing together a time-bending mystery, we've followed the trail of the gray agenda through genetic labs, underground bases, and even the depths of space-time. But it may be more of a twist than what we know. If they are truly from the future, it might have less to do with our current understanding, and everything will fall into place and make sense later on. But the biggest twist of all is that they have more to do with us than anything. It seems like they may be us from the future. We have to ask, are they destined to succeed, or is there anything to truly stop what may come? As that might be one thing set in stone. As the world spins, so goes the mind, and what we have has the opportunity to change our minds and to take to action. It will have a big effect. The Greys continue to attempt a mission, all for the help or detriment. It is important to know what is being done and to make sure it is in our own favor. With the time that is here and now, it is easy to get caught up with where we are heading and if this can have an impact on us. For as much as we know, is it something we simply had never come to light? It may be like that with all that we have learned. It might just have to deal with what will come and not something to see. The power to move forward might just rest with us. It all has to boil down with how great it is. It will truly be a world that moves forward in the best way that it possible can all over. This story can leave many with what is actually going on, and has there been a plan for these all times? As what has happened in the past, could it possibly happen in these coming times? We welcome any kind of comments and any kind of knowledge, as we do enjoy reading what it is that all of our great viewers believe. If you believe this to be something more and what is coming, always put in the work to learn what that might be and to inform others of what is coming. This will not be the last that we touch on stories and what there is to gain from them. As we let that linger in the air, may it be great that you all continue this journey as it is for all of you. We might come to terms, or it could be what changes our world. But for now, we are good. May the eternal light forever guide your path.